This is Joshua Harris with Frankly Cigars. We're here with Brendon Scott from Ferio Tego, Ferio Tego, and Davidoff and Zeno, and you're in the Davidoff booth,
Right.
but Nat Sherman as well, right?
Yes. Well, Davidoff is our exclusive distribution partner in the
Okay.
U.S., and I used to work at Nat Sherman. I was the chief financial officer at Nat Sherman, and my business partner, Michael Herklots, ran our cigar business at Nat Sherman. And then we bought the Timeless and Metropolitan brands from Nat Sherman, and we launched Ferio Tego as a company and as a brand in 2021.
Okay, so if you're more on the financing side and the stuff that people don't really get to see, but it makes it work perfectly and
Yep.
work succinctly.
Yep.
When did you have your first cigar?
Well, my dad was a cigar smoker, but I really didn't smoke cigars with him. My first cigar was probably at a wedding in like 1992, 1993. And honestly, I don't even remember what we smoked. But it was like during wedding season when I was in my early 20s.
I used to buy my dad a Padron sampler every other Christmas. He didn't smoke, but that meant that I get to have the Padron sampler afterwards. So I was like, well, if you don't want it, I will definitely smoke it from you.
Nice.
Do you have a favorite drink to pair with your cigar? Is there something that you have to have when you smoke a cigar, or?
I love drinks, so it really depends on the time of day. Like during the afternoon, like today at the trade show, I might go grab a beer, to be honest with you. Versus when we go for cocktails in a little bit, I'll probably be drinking bourbon.
Okay.
But I also love wine, specifically red wine. So I would say I usually pair cigars with some combination of beer, red wine, or bourbon.
Okay.
I'm not a Scotch guy.
No, Scotch is a little dynamic, I think, for a cigar. I think it sometimes can compete with the cigar. And especially if you have a lighter cigar, like a Connecticut or something like that, and you have the Scotch with it, it's like, oh, we're doing this dance.
Yep.
Okay, and if you don't find that pairing properly, it can be bad.
And when I'm at the factories, I love rum.
Okay.
So love rum too.
Do you have advice for a new cigar smoker?
Experiment, and always remember that the best cigar is the one that you like. Don't be influenced by others, and just be honest with yourself. And whatever you like best is the best cigar.
I think that's very well put. It's difficult, I feel like, for a new cigar smoker to kind of understand all the choices, and we already assume that they know everything. So when they do something bad, you're like, oh, well, why would you do that? Speaking of something bad, what's the biggest unwritten cigar rule violation that you dislike?
In a lounge, I would just say being rude, being loud, just not being courteous to other people around. So that would be my. It's rare to see, but occasionally you'll have somebody who's particularly boisterous or loud, and just having other people move or leave the lounge. So it's rare.
Well, it's in the name. We're supposed to be lounging. We're not supposed to be having a party or anything.
But there's nothing cigar specific that really bothers me.
Really?
As long as it's but just offending other people would be the only thing that would bother
Was there a moment where you felt like a real cigar smoker? Was there like when it crystallized for you that you're like, I'm in the cigar industry. Like I'm a cigar smoker.
Probably after I joined Nat Sherman in 2009, just attending the PCAs.
Yeah.
And so it was probably one of the subsequent PCA shows where, smoking 10 cigars a day, that all right, I'm in it.
It definitely gets to the palate. And then at the end of the night, somebody will offer you a cigar, and you're like, no, I've had 12 today.
But I would still say yes. Yeah. That's when I knew I was in the cigar industry. And I still say yes. Like, there's not, I've already had 8. Right. I'll have that 9. So...
Is there a cigar that surprised you recently?
Not very recently, but I would say when Michael Herklots was blending our Summa. So I probably had my first sample of that 3 years ago. And so really it's a marriage between our Elegancia, which is very creamy profile, and Generoso, made in Nicaragua, which is a bolder profile and richer profile. And Summa really is right down the middle. So that was probably the one that... And that's what you're smoking, is our Summa. So that was probably the one that surprised me.
Is there a lot of change in the blending? Like, do you smoke a blend at one point and then you come back with a completely different attack on your palate from the same cigar? Like, is it changed at all that much? Or once it's in blend form, is it pretty much that's how it's going to be?
It does change, but not. I wouldn't say radically or...
Okay.
And that's our job. That's what Michael would say is his job as blend master, is keeping the blends consistent year over year. And I think he does a pretty good job.
Do you have a favorite cigar?
Probably what I'm smoking right now, which is our Timeless Supreme, which is a Nicaragua Puro made by Plasencia.
Well, I mean, yeah. So there's not too many things wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, where'd you go? I went to basketball camp with Michael Jordan. Oh, okay. Never mind. I know how it was.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Is there an accessory you can't live without?
I'm actually very low maintenance when it comes to accessories, especially traveling a lot
Okay.
and having confiscated at TSA. So I don't have any fancy lighters or cutters because it's always at the risk of losing it. So I guess like we have an executive line, executive ashtray.
Wow.
So the executive ashtray, which retails for like $175, that's probably my one because I like not having to see the ash, especially at home.
Yeah.
So have it out on the porch, the deck. You don't see the ash, so executive ashtray would probably be, but it's $175. It's not that that big or fancy.
Have you ever met anyone in the cigar industry that you were epically or especially impressed by?
That's a tough question. Just because I feel like I'd be leaving somebody out. So I'm going to cop out of that question and just say, still being relatively new to the cigar industry, I've only been in the industry for 16 years.
Yeah.
Is the two things that have always stuck out to me about the industry is number one, how friendly of an industry it is, even among competitors.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation with a gentleman today who sells cannabis, who says it's the exact opposite. It's like cigarettes, which I used to be familiar with, which is cutthroat.
Right.
And he was telling me cannabis was cutthroat. That's clearly not the case in premium cigars. But number two is the humbleness. Meeting a founder, whether it's George Padron or Rocky Patel or whomever, is just, everybody's so approachable.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what the business we're in, right? It's consumer focused, consumer centric. So if you're a horse's ass, you're probably not going to sell a lot of cigars. So just the overall friendliness of the industry and just the overall humility and humbleness.
Well, and you speak about the trade shows and that being your indoctrination. And I was at a trade show and I was frazzled and it was early, first appointment in the morning. And I'm sitting there with my rep at Fuente and this guy walks up and he says, "Can I get you anything?" I said, "I really love a Cuban coffee. I appreciate you." And I look at my rep and he's turned white. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "What?" He said, "That's the CFO of the company." I said, "Well, you shouldn't have asked me if I wanted anything if you didn't want to go and get it." And so he comes back. I was like, "I'm terribly sorry." He's like, "No, I asked you." Like, it's not a big deal. But yeah, everybody in the industry is just kind of like, "Oh, you're a cigar smoker. Here, what do you usually smoke?" Like
there's no task too small for anybody, from the owner to any employee. So.
Do you have a question for me?
Let me be thoughtful in my question for you. What's your favorite cigar and why?
I think my favorite cigar is the cigar that I'm currently smoking at the time and the cigar that I'm about to smoke. And it seems altruistic to say that, but I believe that there's so many different opportunities and so many variances. And like, there are so many cigars where they just change the wrapper and it's a completely different line. And so to have that variance and have that ability and the fact that 300 hands go into it, and it really is a work of art. So I think I appreciate every cigar that I've had, even the ones that I didn't enjoy on my palate, because I understand what goes into them and I understand, the storage of them and having worked at the shop angle and everything else and being a consumer. And so I think you cop out of that question. I'm gonna cop out of this question and say, I enjoy cigars so much that I don't think that there's one cigar that fits that dynamic build. I think it's just.
What's your favorite drink to pair with your cigar?
My favorite drink would probably be bourbon straight, rye or bourbon neat, and then anything that's been kind of variant. There's a bourbon out of Washington State where they age it in the barrels at an elevation, and so more of the liquor goes into the barrel, and then when they tap the barrel, they bring it down, and it comes out of the barrel back into the barrel, and then they can take that out, and that's how it's presented in the bottle. I have to look it up for you.
Okay.
We'll put it in the comments so you guys will know what it is. But
Sounds good.
I really enjoy a bourbon, but like you, I like a beer. And that was a dynamic answer that you gave as well, where it's different from the time of day. I had never thought about that, but it really does.
On the trade show floor.
Yeah.
And it's almost getting to be that time. There is nothing better than a cold beer when you've been standing up for 8 hours, 9 hours, say we set up. There'll be nothing better than that first cold beer.
Yeah.
Except for the bourbon, I'm going to have a cocktail hour around 6 o'clock.
It is interesting that you bring that up.
Is this for me?
That's yours.
Oh.
This has been Joshua Harris with Frankly Cigars.
You were sent from heaven.
with Brendon Scott and a shooken beer. I apologize for the shaking, but
Stella goes great with Timeless Supreme.